Hello again, this is Louis Shepard. I am doing a tutorial for you all today on working with Daz Studio, Blenderrenders, and LuxRender necessarily not for this tutorial. But the purpose of this is to show you how to use reality render to export an image to a file system that you can upload to Blenderrenders and begin a rendering. Now, here's my login screen. I click on LuxRender over here, and I don't start this system yet because I don't want the time clock to start running on my render. So, or on my I don't want the clock to run on what they charge me here. So I'm going to go to Daz Studio, and I have all this already set up to where it's all needs to be. I have the lights, material, and everything all ready to go. But I want to select collect texture, and I keep the texture rather small for something like this. I might push it up to something like this for if it's an important render, I would do that. Even more so if it's something I really need to have look precisely. But for something like this, we can make a very small texture size. And really, there's not that much difference I've seen in quality. But you want to select now export only. So it exports all to this folder and tells the LXX file to make that the image name. So we go ahead and click render frame, and it collects all the stuff for us and sticks it in there. Now we go to our FTP program, which now has everything in our folder. And here is my my Blenderrender FTP I've already set up and I've logged into, and as you see my folder is empty. I'm going to select these items and I'm going to upload them to the server. And while this is uploading, I'm going to hit pause for a moment, and we will return when this is all finished uploading. Okay, the items are almost completed now. There's one or two more things it's going to upload. We're waiting on angel hair here. So what I would say is we can go ahead and start the server while this is almost finished here. So while that's going to finish up here, let's go to Blenderrenders, and let's go to obviously we're on the LuxRender page. We're going to start one server. We'll do it for an hour. Of course, you can set it up to 9 or no limit whatsoever. I don't recommend no limit because you may forget that you had a server up there going and things spins out of control. But let's say 1 hour for just this testing purpose. And of course, we want the 1.0 LuxRender. And we're going to click start. Now, in this example, this is going to be a standalone system. I'm going to go back to the FTP. It is all completed. And as you can see, my resources are uploaded and my XLS and everything is all uploaded. And we can now go to our new found Lux machine, and we can assign, we can assign our O2 XLS and click go. Now this is fired up. It's still in the new status, which means it's generating everything it needs to do, and we're off and running with this now as the thing. You notice I'm not running Lux at all. This is now rendering completely on itself at Blenderrenders, and we no longer need to do anything on this machine, our local machine. I am a little more picky though. I'd like to monitor what's happening, just so I can see whether or not I'm wasting my time here. So I go back to my FTP program and I open up a window here, and I'll show you why I do that in a second. When this is rolling and processing, we can see it generates 3 new files, which is almost an exact copy of these files. I'm sorry, a copy of the XLS, and then two files, an error file and a log file. Log file, for some unknown reason to me, will never populate. This is a nil file, but all of the data from the LuxRender will go into .err. So if you ever want to look at it and see how the process is going, you can do it by dragging this over to your local machine, and when that completes, you can open it up. I use Vim, and you can see that everything loaded up okay, and it is off and running, and it is rendering at roughly 130 or so samples a pixel, and we already got 6 of them. So in a few minutes, we will get an image file, and actually we'll let this churn for a minute, and I'll be back in a minute when we have an image file to peek on. Hold on. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, we have generated now its first PNG, which is an image file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take both files. I'm going to look at the error file, which is the log file, and the PNG, and I'm going to go ahead and download these together. And that file's finished, so I'm going to take a peek and see how far along we are. We've written the file. It wrote the resume file, the FLM, which is a very important file. We'll talk about that one in a minute. But as we can see, we're 3 minutes into this. We've already got 21 samples, and we're good. And now we can take a peek at what we have going on here, and we have a darker image, but we don't need to worry about that because we can bring all this back into our local LuxRender later and change the lights. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead. It looks all even. Everything's fine, even though it's a little darker than I'd like. And we're going to let this just churn away for a while on the Blenderrenders site. Just let it do what it's going to do for a while. And in a little while, I'm going to pause this recording, and in a little while come back and show you what I meant about bringing back in the FLM file. But in the meantime, I'm going to make sure that this terminates at the hour end by hitting stop on this server. So this will now continue to run till the hour is ending. It's 10% of an hour, so 6 minutes into this thing already, and then it will end at the end of the hour. I'm going to pause this for, let's say, I'll let this run for a half an hour, and then I'll bring in the file. I'll download the FLM, and we'll bring it in a Lux together, and I'll show you what I mean about cleaning up the lighting. So we will see you in about 30 minutes, which for you will be 2 seconds. Okay, some time has passed. I'm not exactly sure how long, but we've let's see, let's download this new ERR file and take a peek. As you can see how I'm switching back and forth between these two programs. Some of you might have FTP right in your Windows Explorer. I choose to use the Leech FTP program, but that's just my personal preference. But if you have Explorer and you log right into your folder, you may even be able to, with Notepad, just look at it. But this is how I choose to do it, so that's just my personal preference. Okay, so we're actually 19 minutes into this render. I got 134 samples, blah blah blah. What I'm going to do is I'm really only after this FLM file. Okay, a brief description. Resource files is your polys and your textures. That's what's in the folder here. The XLM is and the XLO I don't concern myself with. Those are instruction files for this LXS file, and that's all we need to worry about. But the FLM file is the actual render itself. The PNG is the image file, the export of it, but the FLM is the actual rendering information. So we are really only after that. So I'm going to go ahead and download this file. Okay, we're back now with the FLM file fully downloaded. Now, as I said before, Blenderrender will change the file name. They timestamp these actually. So we're really no longer concerned with these two, so we're going to go ahead and delete these. As I said, we're really only interested in the FLM file, so I'm going to change the name of this file to be the Redhead 02 FLM. So now, when I call my LuxRender and I open, it will look for the FLM file and resume from the place where it last left off. So as you can see, there's already 133 samples on here, and it's about to do another one, 134. So as you can see, this one's off and running here locally, but I wanted to change the lighting on it a little bit. There we go. So if we would have let this run for several hours instead of just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you would have seen many more samples. But as you can see, we're off and running with this. It's a decent render, and it's something that we would keep. So I could either, at this point, continue letting this run on Blender. I've already set it to terminate, so I can't. But it is, it's almost a half an hour gone into this. But I'm seeing that it looks good here, even though I'm going to stop it and kill it. I can let it keep running here, and I can keep monitoring with the ERR file. But you get the gist of it. You upload it to Blender, you start you assign the file to it, and you let it go. And that's really all you need to do with Blenderrenders. The other stuff I was showing you is just what I personally do to keep tabs on what's happening at Blenderrenders while my XLS file and my textures are churning. So that's it for this. I'll try to put together some more of these files as I can. I know this was kind of off the cuff, and I'm doing this sort of unscripted. So I'm signing off. Don't forget to clean up your files when you leave. Recursive delete. Ooh, we crashed. Recursive delete. And that's going to recursively delete everything, and I have my I have everything I need here. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.